Hi everybody, I'm going to do a live Facebook Live video. Haven't done one in a while. I'm going to do some blacksmithing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hot dog fork slash marshmallow fork slash whatever the heck you want to stick on the end of it and stick in the fire kind of fork. Got the forge over here on my left. Got my good, lovely Farrier's anvil over here on my right. This is just a simple little project. It's not going to take very long, but I've got the camera orientated towards me so that way I can see everybody's comments. You know, if I'm not paying attention to forging, obviously I got to pay attention to that. So if I don't respond to you right away, that's why. Other than that, you get to see my light up procedure, which nothing fancy. You light a flame, throw something in there flammable, and good to go. So I'm gonna get that going. I gotta step off camera, go get what I use, and I'll be right back. The old trusty American Zippo. Hey Molly, you gonna watch me forge out here? I just started it up, so it sounds like a jet engine. Can you let me know if you can hear me? All right. I love you, baby. I can't find the rod that I was going to use to forge out everything. I got to let that come up to temp. I'm going to step off camera. Right here, this piece of 3/8 rod, roughly 2.5, maybe 3 feet long. I was going to make a nail out of this end, but I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to flatten it out, and I'm going to make this the hot dog fork slash marshmallow thing, whatever the heck you want to cook. So I'm going to go cut this off real quick and I'll step back on camera. I was able to find my tape measure, so be able to say exactly how long I'm going to make everything. I got to go get that. Going to be roughly 30.5 inches roughly, so that'll allow for a few inches at any end for me to splay it out and basically fork it. So I'm going to do, let's see, got my soapstone here so you get a visual reference. Basically I'm going to take 4 inches, 4-inch, cut it, flatten it out to 4 inches, okay, and then at that point this piece is going to become 2 pieces like a fork, and it's going to be kind of cool. And then at this end I'm going to curl it, and I'm going to make a round handle, so that way you can pinch it with your fingers and then roll it, because if I fold it and put a square handle on it, you can only rotate it like this, whereas you can hold it in your hand and continuously turn it. So this is going to have a little loop at this end, and this is going to be 2 pieces here. It's going to be flailed out and then up, out and up. So this will be interesting. So I'm going to toss this over here in the fire. Just start heating up. This is one of my favorite hammers. My grandpa got this thing for me. Got it for Christmas, and the first thing I did is I took all the finish off of it, because that varnish will tear up your hand. And then I polished up the face of this so that way I don't leave any marks on my workpiece. And then back here, I hardly ever use this end, but when I do, it's for making finger grooves and whatnot. So this is going to take a little bit to come up to heat, but it'll be kind of nice. So Molly is the J watching. Is the J baby watching? Hi, little Jay. Dad loves you. Oh, that is so cute. She thinks that I can see her. Alright, well, you can see the tip of this. This isn't nowhere near hot enough. It's about at a yellow to me, but on camera, when you see this kind of stuff, the camera always makes it seem brighter than what it actually is. It needs to be a lot hotter. So I'm gonna get ready to start flattening this end out, and then you'll see me over here at my anvil how I'm going to do that. I'm not going to do a hit, rotate, it's just going to be a straight flattening motion. So once this forge comes up to temp, this should be a really quick, short little video. I need to get another camera so that way I can do Facebook and then my YouTube, Instagram, and then if I get another app, that'd be awesome. Get my name out there a little more. Getting close to the temp. Getting pretty close. Mark it. Set it. See what I did there? Took this in, this is still very hot, and I flattened it. Now I'm going to take, and I got to cut a line separating those two ends. Okay? So, I'm going to stick this back in there, heat it back up. Take this tool right here. This tool right here is called a hot cut, or some people just flat out call them a hardy tool. Of course, I mean there's different. Each tool has a different name to it. You can see how sharp this edge is. This is pretty sharp. I wouldn't have done it like this. I would have put a flat on it, so that way as you're pounding and compressing the metal, it will have a visible dark line to it when you get close to the edge, whereas if it's real thin, this will heat up quicker and it'll deform it a lot quicker. I don't know what type of steel this is made out of. This is probably a Pakistan special that was sold on Amazon. I had to grind it to make it fit, unfortunately. So I'm going to take this, put this in the hardy tool. Now you only want to put these in there when you're getting ready to use them, because if you miss and you hit your knuckles on this, I mean, this thing is sharp. Like, for example, you know, I'm shaving that soapstone. This should not be that sharp. It should not do that. But I'll just let it wear itself down, and then I'll regrind it and reprofile it. I created enough of a groove that you can see that. You see that line in there? That line, I've got to work that line. Holy crap, that's hot. You got to work this line. I'll put it up here closer to the camera, but you got to move this line all the way down, and you got to split it, and then you got to bend it and then shape everything. You got to go back in for another heat, and then I'll slowly work that line back over the course of a few heats, and it'll be kind of nice. side to side so it gets an even heat. Which will be kind of nice. Hot standing in here now. This isn't a very big shed, but that's why I like doing this stuff in the winter and fall time. I'll let this get good and hot so that way it's easy to move. It's mild steel, so I don't really give a shit if it gets too hot. It'll be okay. Right now this thing's probably every bit of 1800 degrees. See that glow? You can't really see. There you go. That thing, every bit of 1800 degrees in there. Every bit of it. If I open up that little top vent, you can't see it on camera. If I open that up and I let more air in, it'll get even hotter. And I mean it'll get freaking hot. The one back over here, that'll freaking melt steel. Alright, this will be a better example of what you can see. I don't know, can you see the difference in there? That little dark spot. Basically that whole little slit has got to work its way all the way back to this shoulder. So it'll be kind of nice. And it keeps flashing slow connection on my end. Molly, can you hear and see everything okay? Alright, good. Yeah, see, it just showed it on my end, slow connection. I don't know, it's probably my signal on this. Damn bugs just flew in here. This is cooled off, you can see greater detail of what I'm doing. You can see that groove. That groove is now going to get split. Okay, I'm going to go in for the final heat. I'm going to get a gray line across the back. You can kind of see some daylight through that right there, barely. White background. Anyway, I'm going to go in for a final heat, and then I'm going to spread them, and then I'm going to point them, and then I'm going to round them, and then I'm going to shape it. And then I'm going to do a flat, and then I'd like to do a twist. I'll probably do a twist at a later date. I want to do this, get this done pretty quick. I want to go to bed here pretty soon. But since that thinner area is going to heat up a lot quicker than the sides will, so the bigger sides, when I go to split them, it will actually help split it faster. Because the center heats up so quickly, I don't even have to mess with it. How quick that was. That's kind of cool. Molly, can you see me forging at the anvil? Now that I've got the split in here, I didn't really give it a chance to cool off. I shoved it right back in. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to do what's called a convenience bend. So one of them is going to get folded way out of the way, like ridiculously out of the way. Just one. Okay. You can see the anvil, right? Okay, good. Alright, now this is really, really hot. I'm going to bend one of these way the heck out of the way. What I'm doing here, I'm taking this end right here that is square, and I'm taking the other tine and making it 100% round. I'm going to stick this back in here, but since it's thinner, it's a lot thinner, it's going to heat up a lot quicker. It's going to be a lot easier to work. Okay. Took no time at all to heat that back up. Stick this back in here, and who knows? Man, it is freaking hot. It is very hot. I gotta kind of watch the temps. As it gets thinner, it's easier to heat up. And even though this is mild steel that I'm working with, it'll still burn it. It'll still burn it, and the thinner it gets, the easier it gets to burn it. And I don't want to do that. this heat, I'm gonna put a point on it. I'm gonna do two hard 90s on the far edge of the anvil, and then I'm gonna fold it out of the way, and then I'm gonna fold the other one back in. Gonna let it come up to temp, and then it should be good to go. Look at that beautiful little tip. That's a nice, good little tip. Stick this in here. Pull this out of the way. Stick this in here. Pull this one back up. Alright. Get rid of my hardy tool. And you can see how much longer this one is now that I've drawn it out than the one up here. You can see how square and flat it is, and how round and concentric this one is. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and as it heats up, it'll be a lot easier to watch it go through. Everything's slowly coming up to temp. I'd like for it to come a little faster, but if I raise the temp, the internal temp in that forge too much, it'll you can superheat steel too quickly, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all, because this piece right here is very, very thin. By the way, how the process that I'm doing is exactly how they would have made the old fire pokers with the hooks on them. Now the ones prior to those, some of them had a hook and some of them didn't, but the ones that didn't were 100% square, and they were flat and they were sharp on both sides. So when you stuck that in, that square would allow you to use the handle and turn it. You give a good turn to it, and then you could manipulate however you wanted to do it. It was kind of cool. See how quick that came up to temp? Draw it out a little bit more. I think it's just a tad bit off as far as the length. I want the lengths to be even, so when I go to make the fork side of it, I don't want the bow in the center to be off or one stick out too far. I don't want to do that. So this is where it takes a little finesse to manipulate the metal, make it do what you want it to do, you know. now I got my 2 points on here. I think they're roughly the same length and distance. So at this point, I'm going to stick this back in here. I'm going to forge it up, let it heat up, and then I'm going to straighten both of them. I'm going to straighten both of them in the Pritchard hole. I'm going to use, it's called the Pritchard hole, in the next to the Hardy hole. So I'm going to get these in here, get them all nice and hot, and then I'm going to use the horn of the anvil, and I'm going to shape and do my curving. And then as it cools, when it cools down, I'll probably come out here tomorrow sometime, and I will cut and reshape it. I'll probably take a file to it. About right there is where I want it on the anvil. I got both of these perfectly round. It's split. I got to straighten these and I got to curve these around, so I've got a bending jig. Well, this is heating up in here. And there's no real way to do this, so I'm going to use a bending jig. Back in here. Walk up my toolbox. I'm going to grab a smaller hammer. This hammer right here belonged to my great-grandpa. My great-grandpa Roofer. I don't know what he used this thing for, but when I got his anvil, this hammer was not too far away from it. It is a cross peen style of hammer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to set this in here. I've made a fork that is very, very, very ugly. My tips do not match. Nothing looks exactly the way it should. So I'm going to stick this back in the forge just enough to heat up the tips, and then I'm going to do a final straighten on it. Now this should not take very long at all. In fact, I can actually hear or feel the bricks, and they're getting sticky because it's getting so hot. So that tells me I'm approaching welding heat temperature. And this wasn't in there very long. Not in there very long at all. I'm going to set this on here. looks pretty good to me. So now I'm going to take it, I'm going to dunk this in water. Let that cool off. I'm going to pick up my tools. Now, this right here, up here, is nice and soft, nice and cold. But if I were to grab it down here, my hand would be black as can be. Heat doesn't travel very well through carbon steel for some reason. I don't know the reason why. It just doesn't want to travel very good. But down here, you can see in this right here, I gotta file this out, and I'll smooth it later on. I'll probably do that sometime tomorrow. Now, some people prefer a curve to these. I don't like a curve. I don't like none of that fancy crap. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this in, I'm going to draw it out, round it, and then put a loop in it. This shouldn't take very long. Put a nice little scroll slash loop at the end of it. Something just nice enough to sit in the palm of your hand, and that you can twirl it and roll it. Now I think about it, I might have to widen this a little bit. Now that I think about it, because you go to stick two marshmallows on there, they're going to be side by side with each other. Now, the method I'm going to use to draw this end out is a pointing the bar method, and then at the end I'm going to come in and flatten it. Actually, take that back. I'm just going to flatten it, and then come to the far edge of the anvil, start my initial roll, and then I'm going to work it the rest of the way, and then I'm going to break out my bending tool, and I'm going to let that do the rest. In fact, I'm going to grab my bending tool again, another hammer, put these down here, stick this back in, let it heat back up. Wasn't quite ready. See what I've done here? I've flattened it and curled it. Now I'm going to heat it up, and then I'm going to fold it the rest of the way. It'll be kind of nice. Hey, Brock. back up. Kind of got it in line. That thicker metal, it's going to take a little bit for it to heat back up. Once it does, it shouldn't be hard to straighten it back out. Give it another go. My target for this is to get roughly something the size of a golf ball to roughly the dimensions of a quarter. And the reason for that is that's a good dimension to sit in the palm of most people's hands. So as you can see, my bending jig did not work out quite the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to straighten this back out and give it another try. Doing here, got everything. I'm going to roll it slowly in on itself, and then I'm going to cinch it down pretty good. I should have made a bigger flat when I done that. Right now, I've pretty much hit my target, roughly diameter from a quarter to a golf ball. Right there, I think that is so cool. Hang on, let me cool this off. This is about where I want it. It's got some nice good round edges. I'll let that sit in there for a little bit, let it kind of cool off, and then I'm going to give it a little twist. See what I've done here. Ain't that cool? Just folded it up. And the whole purpose of this is for this to sit in the palm of your hand like this, so that way when you're cooking something, you can rotate it. It'll be kind of cool. I do need to, damn, that is fucking hot. I do need to heat it back up and give it a little turn, because it's a couple degrees off. You can see it's nice and flat here, but Hey CJ, making a little wiener roast stick. Just finished forging out the tines on it, and now I got to do the handle. So what I'm going to do, make everything kind of straight. Well, how am I going to turn this? I'll stick, I'll heat this end up and then I'll roll it that way. Hey buddy. So I've already got a flat at that end. It's always better to heat and bend from a flat than a round. It's a little bit easier. See, I kind of got one with a slight curve to it, and the other one's got an abrupt curve to it. So I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to take care of that real quick because that is bugging the shit out of me. It's hot, LOL, need a do-rag. Fuck yeah, I do. Hell yes, I am. I also need a damn haircut is what I need. I'm starting to look like a damn girl. Just like that, I'm back at the tin. There we go. Both of these roughly the same shape. They're both concentric. I got to grind out I'll hand file out the bottom on this. But as of right now, I've got the handle made. The handle, the teardrop on this is where the flat is on the fork. So if I lay it down, it's going to stay right where I leave it. I'm going to shut my forge down. That excess pressure out. I'm going to cool this off. There you go. Here is a nice little Winnie roasting stick, marshmallow cooker. Basically, that's all it is. You know, this is offset, so this is in the center, so that way it's sitting in your hand, and you go to rotate it when you're cooking. Hey Blake, so you're watching. So this is nice and cool now. That's a good thing about working with mild steel. So, yep. So now I gotta grind this out tomorrow. I might file it tomorrow sometime, and then I'm gonna take a file in here and clean this end up. But yeah, this is a nice little Winnie roasting stick. Told myself I was shooting for roughly 28 inches is what I was shooting for. We'll see if I hit that. I'm just eyeballing it. Oh boy, I'm 30 on the dot. 30 inches on the dot. That is nice. I've been good, man. I've been working a lot. Been in my shop quite a bit. Haven't been making videos like I'd like to, but this is I'll be making more of these. I'll be posting them up on my blacksmithing Facebook page for sale. I'm thinking after I get all these cleaned up, I'm probably going to sell them for anywhere from $40 to $50. It's not exactly cheap, but it's not exactly cheap to hand make stuff anymore. And it's 100% made in America by 100% American. So, I'm going to get off here, y'all. I'm going to let this cool down a little bit before I go inside. But I think this is a cool little project that you can do. I'm going to make another one, and then I'm going to post that one up to my YouTube channel. So, take care, y'all. I'm getting off of here. Good night, y'all.